Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, get straight to the insights. Today, we're plunging into something pretty intense, a challenge that I bet is keeping leaders at every big bank awake at night.
Hmm.
Just picture this.
Hmm.
It's 2025. A major bank is fighting off these incredibly sophisticated AI cyber threats. Seriously, we're talking deepfakes that are almost perfect, voice biometrics cloned like it's nothing, and even advanced facial recognition getting tricked by AI-generated masks. The stakes, well, they couldn't be higher.
Yeah, it's way beyond just worrying about data breaches now. This cuts to the core of identity itself. How do you know who's logging in? And what's really critical, I think, is just how fast these AI threats change. They don't operate on an annual review cycle.
Exactly. So to fight back, this bank's cyber team has come up with something pretty groundbreaking. They're calling it a multi-layered secure authentication feature. And forget your standard 2FA. This is about behavioral biometrics, like how you actually type, your specific keyboard rhythm. And it's combined with facial micro-expression tracking, tiny little facial movements that might show deception.
Wow.
Yeah. And on top of that, there's a personalized AI challenge question. It actually adapts based on your previous logins.
Yeah.
And AI comes up with unique questions only the real you could likely answer.
Okay, that's next level.
Right. The whole idea is to finally move past outdated methods and really tackle these AI threats head on.
So, okay, you've got this super complex, constantly shifting feature. How on earth do you actually get it built? Especially inside a big bank, which, let's face it, can be pretty traditional. The old ways might really struggle here.
And that's exactly what this deep dive is focused on today. We're going to look at how two very different leaders try to drive this exact same feature forward. It really shines a light on the differences in their roles, their thinking, and, well, the results they get. We've got Maya, who's a traditional project manager, and then there's Arjun, a modern Scrum Master. Their styles couldn't be more different.
Okay, let's start with Maya, the project manager. From what the sources tell us, her whole world revolves around structure, fixed timelines, control. She really likes predictability.
Right, so she gets this multi-layered authentication challenge dropped on her desk. What's her very first move?
Instantly, she's reaching for the Gantt chart, that big visual timeline. She maps out everything, sets a hard deadline Q3 delivery, and she meticulously defines all the milestones. Requirements gathering, check. Vendor selection, check. POC, integration, rollout, all lined up.
Very structured.
Absolutely. Her job is precise coordination. She's constantly talking to security, IT, compliance, legal, all the stakeholders. And her main metrics are super clear. Deliver on time, deliver on budget, that's success for her.
And she's reporting progress regularly.
Oh, yeah. Weekly reports go straight to the PMO, the project management office, that central governance body. She's constantly assessing risk, adjusting scope if needed, managing escalations. Her focus is laser sharp, predictability, accountability, get a solid plan, execute it.
Okay, that sounds like a really solid, responsible way to run many kinds of projects, but I can already imagine trying to force a fast-moving AI project into that rigid box. There must have been some friction.
Oh, definitely. And that's what's so interesting here. That traditional approach, it can really hit a wall with something as fluid as AI development. The source material points out that, every time the AI team adjusted their model or maybe found a new threat vector, Maya's perfectly planned timeline would just slip.
Yeah.
And then, say, new compliance rules come down. They didn't just nudge the plan. Sometimes they forced a fundamental rethink, a big rescoping.
Right.
And this constant change led to what they called change fatigue. The team just felt like they were always behind, always replanning.
That sounds exhausting.
It really was. It often killed motivation, led to burnout even, and maybe worst of all, it could accidentally squash any kind of proactive innovation from the team.
Okay, so Maya's approach is all about that detailed plan and sticking to it, managing deviations carefully. How does Arjun, the Scrum Master, running a parallel effort on the same feature, approach this? His philosophy seems totally different.
Completely different. Arjun's job isn't really to manage the project in that top-down way. He's more of a facilitator, a coach for his Agile team. He runs the Scrum ceremonies, the daily stand-ups, the sprint reviews, those regular check-ins to keep everyone aligned and adapting.
Okay.
And a huge part of his role is creating psychological safety, making the team feel okay to experiment, even to fail fast so they can learn quickly. He also acts as a shield, protecting the team from outside noise so they can just focus on the work.
And he works with the product owner.
Exactly. He works really closely with the product owner to keep refining the user stories. Those short, simple descriptions of what the user needs, that's what drives the development.
Can you give us an idea, what would a user story look like for this kind of security feature.
Yeah, sure. The sources had some good examples. Things like, as a user, I want the login system to notice if my typing pattern changes weirdly so I feel safer.
Okay, user-focused.
Right. Or maybe, as a compliance officer, I need a clear audit trail for every biometric check so we meet our legal requirements. See, they're not just tech specs. They're about delivering actual value.
Got it. So how does that approach translate into actual delivery? How's it different from Maya's big Q3 goal?
Well, instead of waiting months for one big reveal, Arjun's team shows working software every 2 weeks. Small functional pieces. Maybe the first sprint review, they show a basic login just using typing behavior. A couple of sprints later, they add the facial microexpression part.
Iterative.
Exactly. And he makes sure they do retrospectives constantly, looking back at how they worked, what they can improve for the next sprint. If any problems pop up blockers, he's on them immediately to get them out of the team's way.
And his focus metrics are different too, I assume.
Totally. He's looking at team velocity, like how much work can the team reliably get done each sprint, but also team health, collaboration, and critically, the actual value being delivered with each increment and how fast they're learning and adapting. Arjun isn't just managing tasks. He's trying to build an environment where change isn't a disruption. It's just normal, expected, an opportunity even.
Wow. Okay. When you put them side by side like that, Maya and Arjun, the differences are really stark.
Yeah.
Let's maybe break that down. Thinking about ownership, what's the fundamental difference there?
Well, Maya, the PM, she really owns the whole project delivery. The final outcome is on her shoulders. Arjun, the Scrum Master, he owns the process. His job is coaching the team to make that process better and better.
Okay. And their main focus seems miles apart, too.
Absolutely. Maya's locked onto scope, schedule, and budget. The classic iron triangle of project management, Arjun. He's focused on the flow of work through the team, building strong collaboration, and driving continuous improvement. It's more about the how.
Which naturally leads to very different leadership styles, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Maya's style is described as more directive. She needs to be, given her accountability for that fixed outcome. Arjun is much more of a servant leader. Facilitative. He's trying to empower the team to figure things out themselves, to self-organize, not telling them exactly what to do.
And dealing with change. Because like we said, with AI threats, change is guaranteed. How do they handle that differently?
That's maybe the biggest difference. Maya manages change through a formal process. A change control board, documentation, approvals. Very structured.
Right.
Arjun, well, he kind of embraces change. It's expected. He works with the product owner to continuously refine the backlog, incorporating new information or priorities. It's just part of the ongoing flow, not a formal interruption. And you see in their metrics too, right? Maya tracks budget variance, milestone dates. Arjun tracks team velocity, team morale, and crucially, that incremental value delivered.
Okay, so laying out all those differences
Yeah.
really makes you ask the obvious question, which one is actually better?
Hey, yeah, that's always the question, isn't it? But it's kind of a trick question because the real answer is both are valuable. It just totally depends on the situation, the context.
Okay, that makes sense. So where does someone like Maya, the project manager, really shine? Where is her approach the right fit?
She's perfect for those large, complex projects where the scope is relatively fixed or where there are heavy regulations. Think building a new data center or rolling out a big, well-defined ERP system where you have lots of dependencies and predictability is paramount. She brings that essential structure and control.
Got it. But for something like our AI-driven login feature, super innovative, constantly shifting landscape, that's where Arjun comes in.
Exactly. For that kind of work, the Scrum Master approach really excels. It's built for adaptability, for learning fast. Remember those bi-weekly demos his team did? They weren't just show and tells, they were vital feedback loops. The security teams, the compliance folks, they could see the feature evolving, react to the latest threat intelligence, and give input right then.
So preventing big misunderstandings or heading down the wrong path for months.
Precisely. It embeds that learning directly into the development flow. It's a huge contrast to Maya's approach, where big issues might only surface much later, near the big bang delivery.
And this actually points to something we're seeing a lot now, isn't it? Organizations aren't always strictly one or the other. They're often blending these roles.
That's a really key trend. Many places now use both. You might have project managers looking after things at the portfolio level, making sure multiple projects align with strategy, managing budgets across initiatives.
Providing that bigger picture visibility.
Right. And then you have Scrum Masters embedded with the teams, making sure the actual development work is agile, efficient, and innovative day to day. It can be a really powerful mix.
Yeah, it combines that strategic oversight with delivery agility.
And it just hammers home the point. In today's world with AI, crazy cybersecurity risks, constant digital change agility isn't just nice to have. It's not a buzzword. It's basically essential for survival. The best leaders, whatever their title, are the ones who can adapt, who can empower their teams, and keep delivering value even when everything's changing.
It really makes you think. As these AI threats get smarter and faster, just building one strong defense isn't enough. It has to keep evolving too. Which brings us to our final thought, something for you to chew on. Are you building systems that can keep learning even as the threats themselves evolve?